consumers have complete control of their data. That's just not true, is it? By the terms of your own agreement, that just is not true.
Senator, with all due respect, all of the genetic data is deleted. We are only
With all due respect, what you are telling me is in direct contravention to what your own policy states. Not because your policies say they're not, and you're not deleting it because if you were, your company wouldn't be worth $300 million. No, don't read from what your guy behind you is shoveling talking points to you. Now, it's amazing to me you're not getting your socks sewed off by your customers. I hope they will. I hope they will rush to the courthouse, even as we are here today, to sue you into oblivion for lying to them.
Hello, fellow patriots. Welcome back to the channel where we defend freedom, privacy, and American values against the bureaucrats and corporate crooks who are trying to run roughshod over our rights every single day. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's keep the truth alive. Today, we're reacting to one of the most jaw-dropping hearings I've ever seen. We're talking about the CEO of 23andMe getting absolutely grilled by our senators. And folks, this is about as bad as it gets. If you care at all about privacy, about our kids, about the future of this country, you need to know what's going on. Let's break this down.
Sales Savage, if I could just start with you. So how many customers do you have approximately?
between 14 and 15 million customers.
Between 14 to 15 million. I think you told Senator Britt just a minute ago that a goodly number of those are minors. Is that correct?
What I said was I don't have the number of customers.
You have the genetic data of a good many minors. Is that correct?
We have genetic data for a particular number of minors, and I will be happy to provide.
People under the age of 18. Is that correct?
That is how I'm defining a minor.
So they give your customers, I just want to make sure I understand your business model. Your customers give you their genetic information for you to run various tests on. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And I mean, that's pretty sensitive stuff, isn't it? Somebody's genetic information. Is there anything more personal than that?
I would agree with you, Senator, that genetic data is sensitive information.
And so now you're just going to sell all of it? 15 million people, bunches of kids, maybe millions. It's just going to be sold in the open market?
As Senator, the good news, as I mentioned, is that the two bidders or buyers for the company, one is Regeneron, which is
That's the Big Pharma company? It doesn't make me feel any better.
It's a large pharmaceutical company.
All right, so you're gonna take 15 million Americans' genetic information and you're gonna sell it to somebody, and your message to us is today, trust us, it'll be fine. Maybe it's a Big Pharma company. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe they'll treat it right. I thought your privacy code, your privacy commitment said that consumers had a right not to have their information shared with anybody else without their consent. I mean, I've got your privacy statement right here. It says that without their consent, you can't share their information. You're about to sell it.
Senator, that consent is, essentially for,
not real?
Not share for research purposes, and we are not selling it for research purposes.
So when you tell the consumer, give us your personal information and we'll take money from you, and we won't give it to anybody without your consent, it's not real. It just means, maybe kind of depends on the day.
Senator, I will say that our customers' data is their own. They have the right at all times to access that information. They can edit it.
Well, sure they can, but you're about to sell it to who knows who. They can't control it. You said to Senator Moody that consumers have complete control of their data. Complete. How can they have complete control if you're about to sell it without their consent?
Senator, they can delete that data anytime up until the sale and after.
Oh, okay. They can delete the data. Have you fixed the ability of customers to go on your website and delete it? Because right after you announced your sale, your deletion page went down. I hold in my hand here an article from the Wall Street Journal. 23andMe site goes down as customers struggle to delete their data. Can they even get onto your site to delete their data?
They can, Senator. And
you fixed this?
That was an issue that, yes, we fixed immediately after.
It's up and running now? Customers can go on?
Customers can go on and they can delete their data.
What happens when they go onto your site to delete their data?
When a customer logs into their account at 23andMe, they go to their settings page, and there's a section there where just click delete my data. It confirms that they want to delete their data, and it's deleted automatically.
Is that true? Let's take a look.
Okay.
When they go onto your page, they get an opportunity. It says permanently delete the data. So they click the button that says permanently delete the data, and then they get a notification that says your account is no longer accessible. How do they know if they can't access their account anymore? How do they know their data's been deleted?
Because we send them a notification that their information has been deleted.
You send it once, and how long does that take?
Our policies state that, we will delete their data within 30 days, and in most cases, it is automatic and happens much quickly.
And when you delete it, it's deleted. It's gone forever.
All the genetic data is deleted forever, and yes.
Really? Because that's not what your privacy statement says in the fine print. Let's read it. What your statement says is, we retain personal information for as long as necessary to provide the services and fill the transactions you have requested, to comply with our legal obligations, resolve disputes, enforce agreements, et cetera, And then it goes on, 23andMe and or our contracted genotyping laboratory will retain your genetic information even if you choose to delete your account.
Senator, 23andMe, it does not retain any genetic information regarding the consumer once they delete their account. We do.
It says right here that you will retain genetic information, including date of birth and sex, even if you choose to delete your account. This is your privacy policy. I'm just quoting from it.
Senator, to the best of my knowledge, we do not maintain any genetic information.
It says even if you choose to delete your account, we will retain your genetic information, date of birth and sex, even if you choose to delete your account.
There is some information that we do retain, such as, but not related to the genetic information.
Right.
But that, such as name, email address,
and
other.
So even if you delete the account, you retain their name, you retain their email address, you retain their date of birth, you retain their sex, and you retain their genetic information, even if they choose to delete your account. So in other words, don't talk to your suit behind you, talk to me. He's not testifying, you are. You do not allow consumers actually to delete permanently their data. And when you said a minute ago to Senator Moody, at all times consumers have complete control of their data, that's just not true, is it? By the terms of your own agreement, that just is not true.
Senator, with all due respect, all of the genetic data is deleted. We are only
With all due respect, what you are telling me is in direct contravention to what your own policy states, even if you choose to delete your account. In fact, what you do is you allow your consumers to delete their account settings, but their data isn't deleted. You still have it. The laboratory still has it. You have their name. You have their date of birth. You have their sex. And now you're going to sell it. Here's my point. It's a pattern. Your consumers actually aren't in control of anything. You are. You control their data. You control their genetic information. Now you're about to sell it. You promise them, we won't ever sell it without your consent, but you're doing it. You promise them we'll allow you to delete it, but you don't. In fact, you've lied to them. Have you not?
Senator, we have not. I assure you that we are deleting all of our customers who have requested.
No, you're not. You're not because your policies say they're not, and you're not deleting it because if you were, your company wouldn't be worth $300 million. No, don't read from what your guy behind you is shoveling talking points to you now. I don't want your talking points. I've read your policies. I've seen what they are, and I tell you what, it's amazing to me you're not getting your socks sewed off by your customers. I hope they will. I hope they will rush to the courthouse, even as we are here today, to sue you into oblivion for lying to them and taking their most personal, identifiable information and selling it for a profit and lying to them and to the American public. Quite frankly, Mr. Selsavage, what you're doing here has all kinds of implications, national security implications, all of it, but nothing is worse than taking the personal, identifiable information of American consumers and keeping it and lying to them about it while you make a huge profit off of it. It's unbelievable to me. It's absolutely unbelievable. This concludes our hearing. I want to thank each of the witnesses for taking the time to share your experience, your expertise, and your perspectives. Written questions can be submitted for the record until Wednesday, June 18th at 5 p.m. I'll ask the witnesses to answer and return questions to the committee within 2 weeks. The hearing's adjourned.
So, right off the bat, we find out 23andMe has genetic data from up to 15 million people, and a good chunk of those are minors. Kids, that's your children your grandchildren, their most personal, unchangeable information, just sitting on some corporate server, ready to be sold to the highest bidder. And what's their business model? You fork over cash, spit in a tube, and they run tests. Sound harmless, right? Well, not when you consider that DNA data is the most private information anyone can have. That's more than your social security number, more than your fingerprints. That's the blueprint of who you are. Here's where my blood starts boiling. 23andMe is selling all this genetic data, yours, your kids, your families, to Regeneron, a giant pharmaceutical company. And we're just supposed to trust them. Are you kidding me? These are the same companies that want to tell you what kind of medicine you can take, what speech is allowed, what you can put in your body. And now they want to own your DNA. Let me tell you something. No true patriot should ever trust Big Pharma with this kind of power. These are the same corporations that lobby Washington, that buy influence, that push their agendas at the expense of our liberty and health. And then we get to the heart of the matter. The CEO claims, "Oh, we'd never share your data without your consent." But right there in their own privacy policy, it says the exact opposite. You try to delete your data? Too bad. They keep it. Your name, your genetic info, your email, your kid's birthday. They're holding on to all of it. That is not consent. That is not privacy. That is outright deception. Asterisk, asterisk. And get this, when news broke about the sale, people rushed to delete their data. And what happened? The website went down. Coincidence? I don't think so. In my opinion, they knew exactly what they were doing. They could see the dollar signs slipping away if people actually had the ability to opt out. And even if you manage to click delete, what happens? The fine print says they keep your data for legal obligations and business purposes. Folks, that means forever. That means you have no control. Asterisk, asterisk, they do asterisk, asterisk. Let me be perfectly clear. This is an attack on privacy. This is an attack on autonomy. And this is an attack on the very foundation of what it means to be an American. Asterisk, asterisk. I am sick and tired of these megacorporations treating us like cattle, hoovering up our most personal information, lying to our faces, and then selling it off to whoever waves the biggest check. And what makes it worse? They target our kids. They are building a genetic database that could be used for anything: government surveillance, insurance discrimination, you name it. And if you think the government is going to protect you, think again. These are the same people who want a central bank digital currency. The same people who want to track your every move, who want to tell you what is misinformation, who want to decide what kind of car you can drive and what kind of stove you can own. So what can we do? We need to wake up. We need to hold these companies accountable. We need to demand real privacy. If you've ever used one of these DNA testing kits, you need to contact them today and demand your data be deleted. Don't take their word for it. Demand proof. And then call your representatives. Tell them you want laws with teeth. Not more bureaucratic nonsense, but real penalties for lying to consumers and selling our data. And if you're thinking about using one of these services, don't. Not until we have ironclad guarantees that our data is actually ours and not some corporate asset to be sold off to the highest bidder. Fellow patriots, this is the front line of the battle for our privacy and our freedom. Don't let big tech, big pharma, or big government take it away from us. The founders fought for our God-given rights. Let's not give them away for a $99 DNA kit. If you agree, smash that like button, leave a comment, and share this video with everyone you know. Let's get the word out, because the only thing standing between these corporate tyrants and our freedom is an informed, united, and courageous people. God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless the United States of America.